Okay, the next principle is called using analogies. This is a principle that is meant to help you simplify complex issues so that an audience that doesn't know as much as you know about the same issue can still understand what you're talking about. It's about closing the knowledge gap that exists between you, an activist who knows more about the issue by virtue of your involvement, and an audience that you may have come across who watched the news, seems to have an opinion, but really doesn't know a lot about what you're talking. We need to close that knowledge base so that the audience can better understand the positions that you're presenting. Now, how does it work? When you use an analogy, what you're usually doing is you're comparing between a given situation that relates to the conflict and a totally non-related situation that the audience knows something about. For example, I'm not going to explain to my audience the entire intricacy of what terrorism is just so that they can understand why Israel has to deal with terrorism more effectively. But I can compare between terrorism and child abuse. Now, my audience may not know a lot about terrorism, but many people do know a lot about child abuse today. By creating that parallel, I'm importing knowledge that the audience already has and making it relevant to the point that I'm going to make. That's what we want to do with analogies. Now, when we use analogies, one of the most important things we have to pay attention to is we have to adapt the analogy so that it's compatible with my audience. What does that mean? Different audiences will understand different analogies. I may want to use a specific analogy when speaking to a North American audience, an entirely different analogy when speaking to a European audience. So that's something that you have to use your common sense for. What we will do, we'll provide you with additional videos on this website that will give you examples of how to use analogies to better explain policies like targeted killing, how to better understand why Israel requires the Israeli security fence, how to explain terrorism more effectively, how to deal with house demolitions, and so on and so forth. Stay tuned for the upcoming videos.